Oh, don't feel bad. You're in the right place at the right time. I started 2 minutes late. We were waiting for some people to come in, but hey, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do what I heard an old man say one time. He said, "Go with God, son. Go with God." The whole choir didn't show up, so we at least we had the lead singer. Long as the lead singer been there, we was all right. We could back the lead singer up like last night. Lady Shiro is in the house. Lady Shiro, what's going on?
Hi, good evening. How y'all doing?
Oh, look at it.
All right. My girl.
Good evening. You pass the porch, you pass somebody's porch, you're supposed to say good evening, right?
That's right.
You get in trouble for that if you don't say good evening.
Mm-hmm. And you know what hurts worse? When they give you that look.
You better say good evening. Yeah, we got so now I'm finding out something. We got Union Heights in the house. We got downtown Red in the house.
Yes.
So now, Lady Shiro, Anastasia, who you representing?
Mount
Pleasant in the house. So we got Mount Pleasant, we got downtown Red Top, and we got Union Heights in the house so far. So all right. And this show is the title of this show is Dry Long So. If you don't know what dry long so means, just hang around for a little while. You're gonna find out tonight. We're gonna tell you what dry long so means. And this show is called The Wit and the Wisdom of the Elders. The Wit and the Elders. What a quad. I gotta see. Let me see. Miss Elka hit me up. So I'm gonna run the promo. And I'm gonna go ahead and try to get Miss Elka hooked up after I run while I'm running the promo. All right. All right. Let's get down to the promo video. I'm trying to multitask. It's hard for a man to multitask. Download the promo video. Download the promo video. Look at it. I say like, do fun. Download now. The promo video download now. So I can tell her how to get here. Yeah, here we go. And here's the promo video, guys. Welcome back to the show. Dry Long Soul, the wit and wisdom of our elders. We've got Union Heights in the house. We've got downtown Red Top in the house, in the play Tony
Hello.
Gibbs and Elder Carly Town, Union Heights. And then we got Mount Pleasant in the house. Hey. Hey. We got that Charleston flavor going on. We got some Jamaica on the way. We got some Cross on the way. We got some Mount Scorner, or by way of New York, Tremont, New York on the way. So, hey, we're going to have a good show tonight. This show is called Dry Long Soul, the wit and wisdom of our elders. The Gullah, we will be discussing the derivatives of the Gullah Geechee language spoken by our ancestors, comparable to the language spoken in West Africa and the Caribbean basin: Creole, Sierra Leone, Creole, and Jamaican patois, and the wit, wisdom, and coded warnings these words contain. The Gullah Geechee are descendants of enslaved Africans who worked on rice plantations in South Carolina and Georgia. The Gullah Geechee continue to live in rural communities in the coastal region and on the sea islands of these two states, and retain many elements of African language and culture. As a matter of fact, the name Gullah may come from Angola, where the ancestors of some Gullah people likely came from. They created a new culture from numerous African people brought into Charleston and South Carolina. So we've got some experts here. We've got some experts here. So Elder Carly, Lady Shira, what do you want to tell us about Geechee Gullah while I'm trying to get some of my other guests on the show?
Well, I'm gonna let the elders start, because that's what we do with Gullah Geechee culture.
Oh, you let the hey,
Well, yeah, well, thank you very much. I don't know if I'm the eldest, but I am the elder, so I'll start. Anyway, the Gullah Geechee people, like you said, you're correct with what you said, but it's not only in South Carolina and Georgia, it also goes to Florida and all the sea islands and 35 to 35 miles inland. You will find Gullah Geechee people doing just about the same thing we do in Charleston and Cross and Hollywood, eating red rice and fish, going fishing, farming. And as a communal, usually it's all communal. You have cousins and family members living close to each other. That's why we take so much pride in preserving the Gullah culture and also holding on upon the land. That is one big issue in the Gullah Geechee Nation, that we try to make sure that everybody realize that, like Queen Quest says, that the land is our bloodline. It is our bloodline, and we should hold on to it. So that's my little spill for right now, but I know we're going to be getting into it, and I'll be ready.
All right. Lady Shiro, you have anything to say about the Gullah Geechee culture?
Well, one thing I want to point out is I love that you're saying Gullah Geechee, because we are an official nation, and Gullah Geechee is one and the same. We're not different folks. We may be from different strokes, but we're one body, one sound, one nation. I am proud to be Gullah Geechee, especially when it comes to food. Anybody know me know I like my food now.
Oh, yeah.
Especially my rice. I did know, I will say this, when it comes to the rice, red rice. You know your Gullah Geechee when your red rice cooked with the tomato paste in the rice, and you got everything else in the rice. Gullah Geechee don't have no sauce on the red rice. But I love it because it also, even if we can laugh about it, it reminds us and it shows how direct our lineage is to Africa. And I'm proud to continue our traditions.
Yeah.
And most of our dishes have an African name because they came from our African descendants. And that's how you know Gullah Geechee, when you see the food. And most of the time, Gullah Geechee don't even know a Gullah Geechee. They just practice and they continue in the ways. And I'm just happy to be someone that's continuing our culture, especially with our street rash. You know how you go. We Gullah Geechee take our opportunity because we got jobs. So, I wear my Gullah Geechee gear. We come on ready for work. We got jobs.
Jobs. Jobs. More than one.
That's right.
Jobs.
Yes.
And Miss Elka Stewart is in the house. Hey, Miss Elka,
Yes,
we
she
glad to have
is.
you with us tonight.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Listen, you had me over at multitasking now. You know I can't do but one thing at a time. So I'm trying to do the show and multitasking. Lord, please don't let me do nothing wrong. But I'm so glad I had some experts on here. So we so far we found out now tonight that we've got Union Heights in the house. We've got downtown Red Top. Next time I go to Red Top, I'm going downtown. I'm gonna go Dodge Chicken, you know, and I'm gonna go downtown Red Top. And we got Mount Pleasant in the house. So Ms. Elka, who are you representing tonight?
I am coming all the way from Westmoreland, Jamaica. So I'm bringing in my maroon and my oh yes, I'm bringing in a whole different root set here.
Go ahead now.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay. Now. All right, so we got Jamaica in the house. I'm going to get Jamaica. What's up?
Yeah.
We got Jamaica in the house. All right, we got Jamaica in the house. And so we were talking about they were Elder Town and Lady Shiro were giving us a little background on the Gullah Geechee. The Gullah Geechee culture. Do you have anything you want to add about the Gullah Geechee culture? It wasn't a question. I didn't give you any questions now, but I'm just throwing that out there tonight. So now, if you don't want it, you don't have to.
Who is this directed at?
Who's that?
Miss Elka.
Yeah, I don't have a Gullah Geechee background. My background is strictly my roots from my village in Jamaica. Tell
us a little bit about that.
All right. So we are from, I am from a family that is deeply entrenched, going right back to plantation days, where my family still has a plantation house and a plantation water catchment tank and a plantation and their land barons. So we have that history going all the way back to the 1700s even. And Brenda has come to see where I'm from in my village, a very, very rich history of Leslie's. And in that village, I am building a guest house. And the reason for it is to pay tribute to my grandmother. And it's literally going to be named after her. So when you're talking about the wisdom of the elders and incorporating the elders into your life, it's almost like a calling. I have a business background, and there's absolutely nothing no matter how we crunch numbers, we can't see a profit in this business. However, it's not about the money. It's more about bringing this consciousness to the next generation. That's really what it is. It's almost like a shrine. I've named it after my grandmother. I have a family page in which I almost weekly I post history of the village and history of the family, so that the next generation and even my generation, they know Dick. They, with all due respect, to raise that consciousness, they're really not really aware. And I keep saying to my family members and to members in the community that when we look back and see the anniversary of Nelson Mandela's death, or we pay tribute to Marcus Garvey, or we pay tribute to even Bob Marley and Bunny Wailer, who just passed, we need to do that also within our own family line, because families make community. Individuals make family, families make community, and community makes a country. So we got to go right down to the grassroots and pay attention to our own roots and highlight the coming out of Black history also. Man, was I ever active. Highlight the things from our family and our community that contributes to a rich history in the community and in the country, and in so doing, awaken the consciousness of our young people. So just about everything at my
Exactly.
guest house, from the fact that my grandmother was a herbalist, my other grandmother was a midwife. Back in the day, they had no doctors tending to the children. Every other child in that village was brought into the world with the assistance of one of my grandmothers. And on the other side, every other sick person was healed with the assistance of my other grandmother, the one with, for whom the guest house will be named. So, and yet we have even siblings of mine who are not aware of that. That's what I bring to the table, is to keep that alive, at the very granular level.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. That's awesome. I tell you what.
Wow.
Yeah, you
That
really
is
enlightened us. That is really
that was
awesome.
awesome.
That
Yes.
was awesome. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about, making sure that the next generation, know about these things, because we're already starting to drop off, not before coronavirus. People stopped with the
Right.
gatherings. You know, grandma and grandpa, they weren't here no anymore. The glue that held everything together. People stopped with the family gatherings. Every family was a family within itself, and those times were lost, and you stop and you say, well,
Exactly.
those are the times when you got together, and sometimes you met family that you didn't even know you had, they just
Precisely.
come by, and so
Precisely. And that's one of the things we did. To get this guest house started, I was putting together some family albums, and in 2018, which would have been in June of 2018, my mother would have turned 100, my late mother, and my father would have turned 104. That's history. And I needed for the
Yes.
great great grandchildren and grandchildren and even my siblings to know who these people are and who their parents were.
Yes.
And so
Right.
we had a family, we had a centenary. I worked over a year in getting us ready for that 2018 centenary. And a lot of people have what do they call it now, family reunions and so on, which becomes a big cookout, a glorified cookout. And I really wanted this centenary to be a history lesson. So, even though most of our family is scattered all over the world, the gathering place was back at the homestead. And it included things like my having to do research and finding the date of birth and the date of death of some of our elders who had no tombstone, and going back to the graves and ordering the tombstone and getting them in place. And actually, instead of a big cookout, we had a week of so-called celebration where each day was a history lesson. And the first evening was probably the only party where we had an opening ceremony and a dinner. But the very next day, we had a christening. Now, since the death of my mother, who was the matriarch of the family, not a single child in the family was christened. There was no ceremony, whether you're Christian or you're Muslim or no matter
Mm,
what. Every
mm.
indigenous group has a ceremony that welcomes a newborn into the world. We are Christians. We could have been something else, but whatever it is, welcome the newborn into the world, into the family, and into the community. Not just a ritual, as my husband once said to his daughter, when I walk you down the aisle, it was more than ceremony. When you bring a child into the world in a ceremony, it is more than ceremony. It's not just a party. It is to say to that child, starting from infancy, that you are welcome, you are special, our eyes are on you.
You man.
that's right.
And so not a single child was christened.
Yes.
We had a mass christening. Every little one, the eldest child was 11, the youngest child was 4 months. No christening, no baptism, no ceremony. Well, that Sunday we had a mass christening. That's what the church service was about, was to have a mass christening. And that's also to honor the tradition of their forefathers. Then
I agree.
we had the next day we had, of course, after the christening there's food, lots of food going on,
Chicken.
right?
That's a chicken. Yeah. Go.
Because
Go
it's a pivotal part of families getting together. You tie it all up together with food, but it was more than ceremony. There was symbolism in the act. And so whether the young people
Wow.
were interested in a christening, or I don't go to church and I don't do that, and you're going to honor your ancestors and you're going to go through this with your children. And that was done. The next day we
Wow.
had, now this was an emotional event. Am I taking up too much time?
No, go ahead, y'all.
All right.
I
This
missed the
was this was an
job. Go ahead,
emotional event.
Okay. Yeah.
I just want to show how we go about honoring tradition and honoring our elders. Um, you can set up a day and say this is grandma's day, or you can show grandma, you can show how you honor. And so the next day, as it turned out, I purchased the property on which I'm building the guest house to honor my grandmother, because that property, my grandmother once lived on it. And these land barons I told you about, well, they had a Scottish ancestry, and my grandmother was married to one of the descendants of these Scotsmen, and he wanted to leave her, and in so doing, he passed the matrimonial home and land on to one of his um, cousins, his first cousins.
Wow.
And my grandmother was turned off that property. Now, I heard about that history growing up. So, of a truth, I admit it, a little feminist was born. And I vowed to get that land back to honor my grandmother. And way back in 87, I heard who the new owner of that land was. I went to England to secure that, to put my face in the face of the owner, and I started engaging him. And by 1991, I owned that land
Amen.
that my grandmother was turned off.
Yeah.
So when we had the centenary to honor my parents, one being the daughter, my mother is the daughter of that grandmother, we had a groundbreaking on that land to build a house to honor my grandmother who was turned off that land. Now, she was in a humble, what is called a daub and wattle construction. I am building a monster of a grand house to honor her because, hey, she's going to be blessed tenfold. I'm going to honor her tenfold. I'm not going to build a replica of what she had. I've been blessed and abundance has come my way. And so she is going to look down from where she is and she's going to say, this is my beloved granddaughter in whom I am well pleased. And so we had the groundbreaking in 2018. That's not all. The land to which the community to which my grandmother went after she was turned out of her matrimonial home, and chances are she journeyed on a donkey with her belongings. And I can picture the two baskets on either side of the donkey as she traveled to Jerusalem, as far as I'm concerned. And we decided that morning that we would, after the groundbreaking, we would make the journey that my grandmother took on foot and by donkey to where she ended up in her village, the village I knew her in as a child. And there we had a small ceremony to honor my grandmother's arrival in that village. The very
Wow.
next day we returned and we laid 5 tombstones on 5 elders' graves. They're now marked. They're not just a mound of rocks, so
Mhm.
that
Awesome.
future generations know. And I spent a great deal of time on ancestry.com, the Jamaican registry, and so on, to get the date of birth, the proper date of birth, and the proper date of death, and was able to build the tombstones. And I got that all ready before the actual date, of the people ascending in July 20th to 27th, 2018. And we had a laying of the tombstone. We had the youngest among us. Each was chosen symbolically to remove the cloth from the tombstone, the unveiling, and they had something to repeat to honor the ancestors. So this is no joke. I really wanted to be here because it's not a cookout. It is something that says that we are not here by happenstance. And in as much as we don't know how we will be remembered, we know that what we sow is what we reap.
Yes. Mm.
Amen. That's right. That's right.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
Oh,
That's awesome. Elder Town, you know what?
yes.
Do you have time? Can you go through your list, or you have time?
Yeah,
Yes?
I'm going to have time, I wanted to segue on what she just said because I wanted her to know that in 1780, the British came to Charleston, South Carolina, and when they came, they brought Jamaicans here. And when they left Jamaicans here. So we too have an African Caribbean heritage. And in
Yes.
1670, the Barbadians came, so we have that connection too. So we are all connected here. And what
Yes.
you're saying about the house that you're building, it's amazing how vibration is, because I too am
Yes.
trying to restore an old house, and it's called
Yes.
Yinacharan House, and it means
Yes.
you children. Because when I was growing up, that was what nurtured me, that community that I came from. And I left because, you want to go somewhere else where the houses look better and all that. But when I got
Yes.
older and I realized that this is actually the gold mine right here in my community, so my
Exactly.
mother died in 2019. So what you said about honoring the ancestors, I told my
Yes.
family that, because when she died, it wasn't a year before she had passed away. Everybody wanted to move in her room, and I was like, no, her spirit is still here, and we must honor it.
Yes.
Must honor it.
Yes.
So I am so glad that you're here. It's like you're a kindred spirit. You are a kindred spirit, because exactly what you're saying is what I've been thinking, is what I've been doing. I've been working with Anastasia. She's one of the artists and residents at Unitarian House. And a lot of the Gullah culture and the Gullah language has a lot of English words, but we also have a lot of
Yes.
African words. So like,
African. Yeah.
I think that you all use the same word, bakra. We say bakra.
Oh,
And the bakra
totally.
means a white person.
Totally.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Totally.
So I just
There,
wanted to
there, there
say
are
that
quite a
I'm
few
going to leave
similarities
about,
because I've seen a Gullah dictionary
yes,
and a book of syntax, and I've seen some similarities in the words. Yes.
yes, yes, yes. Yes. So I just wanted to say that I'm not going to leave. I'm going to give you about 10 more minutes, and then I'm going to go get ready for my other meeting. I am so honored to meet you, and I keep up the good work, and I pray that God will
Same here.
bring us together again, because this is really nice. Thank you, Cornell, for this really,
Oh,
really
Thank
nice.
you.
this is
I'm
not the last
Thank
excited,
you.
and
time.
everybody knows when I get excited, I'm excited.
This is the
All
last
right.
time. This is like there's Deke. There's Deke coming back in. There's Deke coming back. All right, Deke. I'm glad you came back. I thought I had to come downtown Red
Yes,
Top.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, I was freezing up.
That's all right. Glad to have you
Yeah.
back. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. One thing I would like to focus on as far as our heritage. Yes, we're known for eating a lot of rice, but we're also known for being strong with our families and respectable to our elderlies. We had a family reunion, I think the first one 30 years ago, and we learned that there was 13 brothers, and that's why if you from Red Top to Mounts Corner, to Awandale, Wadmalaw, Edisto, you'll have Gibbs, but then some are spelled ES, some are spelled S, and there were 13 brothers that got off the boat. And I always tell the story, when they got off the boat, they started running. And when some of them got the red top, they thought they were in Canada, so they stayed there. But as far as our heritage, we're strong people, and a lot of what we had has been it's going away, and we need to maintain it. Like
Yes.
respect for elders, keeping our property,
Yes.
and being a role model for those to come. I know those are the
Yes.
things that I agree with. And my dad taught me, he said, manners will take you where money can't. And if
Far.
we all know
Far.
that
Right.
there's time where you might not have no money, but if you can use yes sir, no ma'am, and use respect, that money can get you a ride to wherever you want to go. And
Yes.
he didn't mind sparing the rod.
Wow.
So, but that's that's one of the takes I wanted to put in there.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. That
That's
I,
so
I like
true.
that. Awesome, awesome. I tell you what, I didn't know we would get all this history, man. This is awesome. Elder Town, I'm gonna go ahead and let you do that list though, since you with us. Two people chimed in. The Rod Shine, the rapper BMX says salute, and Nina Nesbitt, the CEO of oh goodness, Nina, don't beat me because you're watching the show. She gonna say, Carnell, you just interviewed me the other day. I'm just excited, Nina. I'm just excited of Industry Direct, modeling and talent in Charleston.
Yeah.
Nina Nesbitt, she's chiming in and she said, awesome. She said, awesome show, awesome show. So Elder Town, I'm gonna go ahead and let you do your list because you got 10. You say you got 10 minutes. So
Okay.
I think that's
Okay. My list will start off with empty sack can't stand alone. Empty sack can't stand alone. I know y'all ain't heard that one before. Everybody looking at me. How the for do it? Y'all gonna get you a while. Hush your mouth. Hush your mouth.
oh yeah. Empty sack can't
Okay.
stand alone.
Right. Empty sack can't stand alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh goodness, I
Okay.
like that.
He got a sweet mouth.
Good one.
Did anybody ever heard that one before?
I
He
heard
got
that.
a
We've
sweet
heard
mouth.
that. We have a
You know, in the
similar
Gullah
one.
culture,
We have
you
a
used-
similar one. We have a similar one in Jamaica. We say
Okay.
that in Jamaica, and we have the opposite. The opposite
What's
is that
yours?
it's got a goat's mouth, because a goat's mouth, they say
Oh,
whatever, when a goat eats a plant, it dies or it's stunted. It stops growing. So you either have a sweet mouth
okay.
or a goat's mouth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And in the Gullah culture, we would substitute. We wouldn't say he. Sometimes we would say e. Ida do this, yeah.
That's
And also,
that's
another one
also common in
is
the Caribbean.
okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeti that. Well, that's just a phrase we use. A lot of Gullah Geechees use that in the islands. Yeti that means, did you hear that? Hey, wait a minute now. Y'all, Hollywood, you ain't never heard Yeti that? Mr. Gibbs, have you ever heard Yeti that?
I ain't never heard that
Huh?
one.
I never heard
No.
Yeti that.
You haven't
See, I
heard
know
that
we
one?
get all kind of flavors now. I know we
Okay.
got
I'm
31
all
flavors
right.
tonight.
Oh, geez.
Okay, that's true. All shut eye ain't sleep. I know you not hear that one.
Oh yeah, I heard that. It was all
You
shut
heard
eye.
that one.
All shut ain't sleep.
Exactly. We have that one
Right.
in Jamaica as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. You have that one too? Yeah. So you see the similarities there.
Yeah. Do you have
basically we have a lot of things similar that are go ahead.
Similar to that is skin, teeth, no laugh.
Do we have what?
Skin, teeth, no
Right.
laugh.
Yeah. I've
Just
heard that
because
one.
someone is grinning doesn't mean they're laughing.
Skin, teeth, no laugh.
Right. And
All right.
the one
Skin, teeth, no laugh.
this one was told. Yeah. And this one was told to me by an elder in Cross, South Carolina. And I always tell my young people this: wrongdoings got their own punishment, and unjust don't profit.
Right.
I heard that last part now. I heard the unjust. They say don't prosper.
Heard that all the time.
Yeah, unjust don't prosper. That's
you heard that? Okay. Wrongdoings got their own punishment, and unjust don't profit.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's all. So I want to hear some of y'all on. Y'all ain't hear mine.
Okay, well, go ahead and let's go around. You know, we will go around. But okay. So who wants to go next?
I got one for you.
All right.
And it's one that I think is a universal one.
I love it.
I know what I want to say with.
That's a byword for the curse. That's half the word.
Right.
And they say,
then you should go with what we call the strips as well. Like,
oh yeah.
That's called a strips.
And I always laugh.
Yes.
Tease my siblings, especially when you're dating in Charleston. You know, everybody's family. And these days, now you got to go out for a background check, COVID-19, and everything else. But something that the grands always did is, who you with? Who you be? Who you love?
Who your family? Who your family? Yeah, who your family?
Who your people? Who your
That's
people
that is a direct, like word for word Caribbean. Word for word. Yeah.
Back then you worked in the house.
Yeah.
They had background checks before we had the internet.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. People know that. Hey, who child you for?
Yes, definitely.
Who child you for?
Yeah, and mostly in Charleston. You'll know where people is from by their last name, because a lot of the people in the area had the last name of the plantation owners. So you would know a lot of them. Well, oh, they came from that plantation because that's Boone, they're Boones or what have you. So it's amazing how.
And that's the thing. That's exactly what I was talking about. That the plantation, the communities in Jamaica still have. They end with pen or yard. And the pen took the plantation's name. So you will have, like, where I'm from, they have dropped off the pen, but it's Haddo pen. Haddo being the plantation owner. And then you've got yard. They would, so you would have a Stewart yard and a Leslie yard. And that area, it's not a yard. It's a whole area. It's acres and miles. That's a yard. Because it was owned by that plantation owner. You see?
Exactly. That's the same thing here. Yes. Yeah. So many similarities.
Chances are, if it was a yard, it was a sugarcane plantation. And if it was a pen, it was animals that they tended. You got it? So the animals would be all penned up. They would be in a pen. So the pen literally signifies what their industry was, you know? Yeah. I have one for you. Do you hear that one hand can clap?
Yeah, one hand. That's the empty sack can't stand alone.
Right.
That's
one hand can clap, huh?
That's empty sack can't stand alone. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, it tripped me out because I think I even though I say I wasn't a troubled youth, but sometimes you act out. Well,
yes.
GULLAH GEECHEE for we didn't do no video game and this and that. We was always put outside. You go to grandmama's house, you outside all day. You outside. And all the time we outside complaining, but we wouldn't say it too loud because we know our elders had like this micro. I don't know how they heard us, but it was like this ultrasound. Like you could whisper and they knew exactly what you're saying if they sleeping. But we'd be outside complaining. He hot out ya. He called out ya. Oh, I just go in the house. And half the time we go sneak in and try to come back out. Oh goodness! Then you hear that one where they say, "Where you growing up? You raised in a barn? You gotta close my door." All the time. And we would try to turn on those lights to burn up their energy. Well, I never seen nobody turn off lights so fast. Talking about something. The Lord got the sun out. The sun out. You better use the Lord light.
Yeah.
You want to read? Go outside. Open the window.
Right.
Or if it's raining
When
and the sunshine at the same time. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was getting ready to say, one of the elders that I used to, be with all the time when I was a little girl, she used to always say, "Lucia Satan." She was a church woman, and if she saw somebody doing something that was not correct, she'd say, "Lucia Satan, Lucia Satan."
I used to always feel like I was in The Color Purple, especially you get in trouble.
Right.
And go and get your own switch, but we ain't use switch in Mount Pleasant. We street craft people, so we had to go get made up. But they tell you, this will hurt you a lot more. You hurt me. Yes, ma'am. Don't let the door.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah. Listen, don't send me to pick no switch. I'm gonna get the sickliest.
Oh my God! They said that. Oh my God!
Listen,
even the very word switch.
My cousin Humble, she gonna go get a half a tree and come back. And I said, girl, she gonna beat us with that. I said, why would you? I was the oldest now. I was the worst. So I said, my grandma sent me get a switch. I'm bringing back the little sickliest, sorriest thing I could find. I said, I know you know how to use it. Let me see if you can work your magic with this. And here come my cousin.
Right.
And my cousin stand there and take her beating. And me, I'm Emma Smith. You gotta catch me on the run.
I know, right?
I run it. Listen, But that switch, and you had the bush at the church too. At our church, there was I call it a switch bush. Bush at the church. But those kids that act up, and you could tell when they know they're gonna get a beating because they're going out, they're going down the aisle.
They gotta go to the bathroom.
They're holding their hand like this. They try to put the brakes on, and when they come back in, oh yeah, dog, they're quiet then.
A whole new person.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the Rod shot. BMX said Tom drunk, but Tom ain't fool.
Oh my God, we say that too.
You say that too?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
we said,
and a lie don't care who tells it.
As I saw somebody that, right. If the elders knew somebody who really you couldn't trust, they would say, "You better feed that woman a long spoon."
We say that too.
Oh yeah.
We say that too.
Yeah.
I
feed that woman a long spoon.
we don't just have our sayings though. We got our actions too. And it's funny because I used to laugh at this.
Oh yeah.
I would never do this. But now I could be on the phone and mid-conversation, and if it's thunder and lightning outside, I hang up and say, I gotta go. Unplug everything. I'm talking.
You shut everything down like my grandma used to do. My grandma shut the whole house down. Shut everything down. And God wasn't talking now. Not God. God. GAWD.
God.
That's right. That's right. God Almighty.
Someone has the post on there right now. A new broom sweeps clean, and everyone who's ever went to a church and a new pastor come, the first thing they say, "Oh yeah, a new broom sweep clean. Just give them a few minutes. Give them a few minutes. Yeah. You'll see the real preacher then."
Well, we have that saying with the new broom. but we finish it by saying an old broom sweeps the corners. The new
Okay.
broom sweeps clean, but the old broom finds the corners.
All right, so the old
Okay.
broom worked a little bit better then.
Oh,
Old
okay.
broom go in the
Yes,
corners. All right.
it's more
Okay.
thorough.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, listen, y'all remember this one? I used to hear this a lot since I was a big boy. Where your grow going?
Yes.
Where your grow going?
It's growing fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where your grow going?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
mean go on a diet. That's the nice way the old people saying, boy, you need to stop eating so much, but go on a diet. Oh Lord, where your grow
Yeah.
going, man?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And the one where you say
But
feeding with a long spoon,
Yeah.
we also had an expression
uh-huh.
where you can only hold with somebody that is not reliable, you can only hold them with one hand. Because if you hold them with both hands,
Oh,
then they shift on you, you'll fall on your face. So you hold them with one hand.
okay.
Hold one
Right.
hand. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's the Jamaican spin. All right.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Yes, yes.
Now the old people
But
used to have certain ways they said words too. They didn't say directly, they say directly. I see you directly now.
Directly.
Yeah, directly. I
Directly.
see you directly.
Mhm.
Yeah. See you directly.
Mhm.
Directly.
What about your
I
morning
I
and
remember
evening? In
when I
Jamaica, the old folks said morning, MAWN, morning, and
Mhm.
evening. There is
yeah,
an
yeah, yeah.
L in the evening. Evening.
Right.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't
Uh-huh.
know.
Or if they
Mhm.
hadn't seen you in a long time, I long for see you.
We say that.
Yeah, I long for
I
see
long
you
to
now.
see you. I
I
long
long
to
to
see you,
see
you
you.
know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My great grandfather, I used to always eat off his food.
And
He
we
always
say
And he used to say to everybody, Charlie, I'm satisfied till your belly full. And
Mhm.
you talking about weight? I said, no wonder
yeah,
my
yeah,
belly
yeah,
always
yeah,
too
yeah,
big.
yeah,
I
yeah.
We have the equivalent. If you're very close with someone, you want to tell how close you are. You say you eat out of the same pot.
That's right.
Mm.
Yep.
And then you got the
Yeah,
one
yeah, yeah, yeah. We said yeah.
don't eat out sheep
We
pot.
say
Don't eat out. You don't want to eat
Uh,
out sheep pot
I
now. So
I
throw
got
that-
one for you.
Which means you
I got
don't
one
really
yeah.
for
care
you.
for that person, right?
I,
Right.
Yeah.
well, tell me what happened.
Right.
What they used to say when the sun is out and it starts raining.
The devil
The
beating his
devil
wife.
and his wife fighting.
The devil be the wife.
The devil was the domestic abuser.
Yeah.
The devil and his wife
Hey,
fighting.
Right. And
Right.
right. And we usually say, anybody know, well, I guess most people from the Gullah Geechee Nation knows this one. I come ya, I been ya.
That's
Ah!
right.
I come ya. I been ya. I come ya.
That's right. You just getting in the house. You don't know what
So
time it
it's
is.
two.
I've been here for a
Right,
while.
right,
That's right. That's
right,
right.
right. I have been here means I've been here for a long time. I ain't just come in. I'm a come here as I come here. We talk about the come yeahs a lot because in Charleston there's a lot of gentrification going on. So we have a lot of come yeahs.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And we the Benyas.
That's right.
Yeah. And I brought you here and I'll
Yeah.
take you out.
We refer to the
Hey, everybody
commiers
heard
as the
that.
Yeah.
the commiers are the just come.
That's,
Yeah, like,
huh?
right on
The Rod
Yeah,
Shine
the just
said,
come. The Benyas are
Just
us.
come.
Who Benya?
yeah,
Yes.
Benya
Yeah.
the just come. The Rod Shine said instead of 3, they say Shri.
tree.
And then he said,
Tree.
way over yonder.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to always be
Mhm.
sent to the store $3, and I supposed to spend $10, and Granny else would send me to the store to go get the ting. I ain't know what a ting is yet, so I come back with a list of things I know Granny wants. So I give her a whole list, and I done spend up all my $10, $15, and I come back after her $3 she done give me, and she want her change. Where you change? You get $3, but you bet not. I
Uh-huh.
give him change.
when I used to go out and you know I was leaving, go someplace, my grandmama used to tell me, "Don't let Doc catch you.
Mm-hmm.
True,
If you
true.
let Doc catch
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
man,
yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah, good one.
but see, the thing is with the children these days, I came home from the military to visit, and I told my dad, I said, I'm going out. He said, all right, be back here by midnight. I said, well, it's 11 o'clock. I said, in California, we just get ready to go out. He said, I'll tell you what, you ain't in California. This is my
You
house.
better go
You
back.
better be back here on time.
That's right.
That's right. That's
As long as
right.
you're under my
Yeah.
Yeah,
roof, as long as you're under
Yeah.
my roof, you better do right thing.
Yes, sir.
yeah. And it seemed a little bit draconian then, but now we do understand as parents how much they didn't sleep, no
yeah,
matter how old you
Right.
are.
right.
And I
That's true.
remember, yes, no matter how old you are, your parents just won't sleep when you are out of the house. And we go through that with
Right.
our own children. When they are where they are, when you were
True.
back off, in the middle deployed, your parents slept. But the minute you came back in the house, then you have to account for everyone before you can sleep. And
Right.
I'm there now. I am them. I have become my
Yeah.
parents.
You become your parents. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, yes.
When my daughter went out for the
Right,
first
right.
time, I was by the window the whole time, and I said, I know how my grandmama had feel now.
Precisely.
Mm.
I said, God, I know how she
Precisely.
felt. I said, and then
Hmm.
I said, I know she. And the first time a little boy came over, I was so mean to that boy. I wasn't nice at all. And I said, I know why that girl daddy was so mean to me now. That man was mean to me. And then when I started preaching, that man was so nice to me. Hey, Reb. I said, I can't believe that man called me Reb. I said, that called me Reb. That man used to look at me. If looks could kill, I would have died 50 times on
Yeah.
Friday
Mm.
night. But I understand. I understand the dynamics of being a parent. I understand.
Well,
Yeah.
also as a parent,
Totally.
just remembering, you're just hoping that whatever you instill in your child, they also share that with the world, and that they use their common sense that was already planted to them. And with that being said, I used to always hear, when you go out, especially in the church, or you go somewhere that's in the presence of people that know your family, which for me was everybody. I couldn't go nowhere, so I would always hear, "You better remember who you been,
Hmm.
where you been from, where you come from. Don't forget who you at."
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. You gotta represent.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you're
Hmm.
not just there for yourself. And
Right.
don't think
Don't
you're
bring
gonna get
disgrace on
lost.
this family.
And whatever you
Right.
do, it won't come back to the family and reflect on
That's
the
right.
family.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
that's pretty much it. You know. Um, the
Right.
one of the simple things that I wanted to also point out, that when we had that centenary event at the graveside, my grandmother, I remember as a child, running bare feet to bring her Sunday dinner. And when I got to her house, she always had an apron on. And in that apron were some crackers, some dried crackers called Excelsior. And it was compared to the dinner that I left, that I still had to go back home to getting that Excelsior crackers, dried crackers, no butter, nothing, from her pocket was like getting gold. It was caviar. And she had no refrigerator, and she had what we called Jimmy Jam jars, which were like some ceramic jars, some stoneware pottery jars, and that had water. And the water was as cool as cucumber in sunny Jamaica. And one of the things that we did at this unveiling of her grave, of her tombstone, was to serve Excelsior crackers.
Wow.
Lo and behold,
Oh.
we couldn't have enough for the grandchildren. It's almost as if it's in our genes. We can all afford more than that. And here we were having these dried crackers at the graveside to represent grandma. And my goodness, the last
Hmm.
thing that happened was that there is a tree. I don't know if in Charleston you have that breadfruit, probably not. because I hear
No,
Miss
we
P
don't have
going on and
breadfruit
on
trees.
about breadfruit when she comes to Jamaica. Anyways, breadfruit is like potatoes growing on trees. It's like Irish potatoes growing on trees. It is a staple. And when we were done at the graveside and stood and were taking pictures, a limb broke from the breadfruit tree, something highly unusual. It happens once in a blue moon, and dropped at our feet 3 breadfruits.
Wow.
And as far as we are concerned, it was the Father, it was the Son, and it was the Holy Ghost. Grandmother was saying,
Yes.
grandchildren, I am well pleased. I am well pleased.
Yes.
And I'm telling you,
Yes.
it was like a gift from heaven. So sometimes some of the symbols are not, whether we are going and we're remembering their language, their expressions, sometimes it's facial expressions, you know. You can there's
Yes.
this gift that I've seen where they say when black people wanna not use their hands but point to somebody, you use your lips, you go,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and you point in that direction with your lips. And so those are some little things. They might be
Yes.
idiosyncratic, they might be idiomatic, and they might be a simple thing like some crackers or some biscuits that represent. You know, it's not old fashioned. Now I know that I pay attention even when I cook to represent what my mother did. I want her recipe
Right.
and I want it to be authentic.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
that's what, oh, one last thing. We had an event at the family farm and we were going to do a cookout on the farm. Literally the way that my mother, who supervised the workmen on the farm, how they did it. And it was the way you would see on the chain gang or in the cotton fields where the men would be singing and they would be call and response. And my mom would
Yes.
pay one person more money than the rest of the men so that he could set the pace for the work to be done. And they would be singing, and they go, Dr. Bird, a corning bird, and the men would respond, hard bud for dead, Dr. Bird, and then he would start slowly and pick up the pace in order to get a full day's work out of these men. But then there was a cooking at lunchtime for the men with the biggest dumplings and a dish that was made from salt, cod, and gravy. And it was a curry dish. When I got to the farm, I realized I had no curry. And my brother, he went sideways just down a little hillside, and he came back with some turmeric. No problem, he said. Now the farm was a good 15 kilometers on foot from from any store or supermarket. My brother was able to dig back into the old days, the old ways of doing things, and found the root of a turmeric that could replace the curry.
Wow.
We got to know how to survive.
That's right.
We got to know how to survive. And I thought that was one of the biggest tribute to my parents on that farm that that supported us. Yes.
I think that's
Thank
amazing.
you for allowing me to share this.
Oh,
I think that's so beautiful because I think that's one of the things that I think connects all of us is that importance of remembering who came before us. Honor,
Right.
I
Memory.
can't hear.
remember where you came from so you know where you must go. And, one of the things that I do, which most people don't understand, or you can ask Elder Carly Town, wherever I got my drum. So I've always got the djembe with me. And I do it for several different reasons. And one of them, I used to work at Boom Hall Plantation. I was the sweetgrass tradition of, I was the storyteller, which I always tell people I will open up and say, I ain't tell no story, okay? So I ain't no storyteller. But I ain't gonna share with you today. Because in our culture, story and is lying. Well, I wanted to be there because I wanted us to share our story and not somebody else. And I start off the show by sharing with them why I have the djembe. One of the reasons is politics. The simple fact that to this day, slave laws still exist that say that nobody of African descent is still supposed to be playing a drum. Because it was a signal, it was our way of communication and our connection.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons. But the other reason is that connection, remembering to honor those who came before us, the ability to play the drum in honor of our ancestors and each other, our way of connecting each other by not just breaking bread, but also through music and art and creativity. But also simply the face of the drum is a circle. And I play that because in our culture, that circle is so important because we believe in everything being a circle, from the oldest to the youngest, making sure that we continue to pass on because life is a full circle. Yeah, even to this day, I still hear people tell me mind and spirit. Because we're such spiritual people, we got to be mindful of the energies around us because we're never truly alone. We got those that help us up, but there's also spirits that exist up there to pull us down as well, to harm us. So it's a way of also connecting to that spiritual element, that spiritual world is through those vibrations of the music and banning off some of those negative energies surrounding us too. But all that I do is to make sure that I stay connected. And in honor of the person that taught me how to play the drum, I always try to Banga Alafia because it is a welcoming song. And there's so much history behind that song, but it was something that was taught to me and one of the first things I learned to play. So to honor Mr. G, who taught me that, I always try to play it and share it with those around me because I'm a share but so much of my culture, but I won't teach it to others outside of my culture, but I will share some of what it is that we have to offer.
That's deep. I'm gonna start carrying the drum.
Yeah.
Start carrying the drum around.
Well,
right.
I'm going to be leaving, so I just want to. This is what I tell my young people so that they can remember who they are and whose they are. You're not children wonder about what your secret be. You're not rich with the GEECHEE. If people think you're not lie about the one you're not do, then crack your teeth. About your history. And I'm going to leave. I got a meeting. Peace and blessings. It was really great to meet everybody. I'll talk to you later. Talk to you later. Peace.
All right. I'm going to be going too. I'm having difficulty with my earpiece here. All of a sudden, I didn't get the last bit of things, but it was such an honor to join you folks, and I'll be happy to be invited again. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
All righty.
Thank you, Elder Tom. Thank you so much, Ms. Ilka. What awesome.
And even that right there, how everyone said peace, that's something else for us culturally. We don't like to say goodbye because it's so final.
So you say peace.
Mm-hmm. Peace, see you later, talk to you later. But just to know that we're expecting or hoping to meet again.
That is awesome. This has been an awesome show. This has been an awesome show. Really, really deep with culture, really deep with you telling us about your uncles getting off the boat, man. Deacon Gibbs, you telling us about the drum, hearing about the Jamaican culture. It's just deep. It was a very, very deep, very enlightening show. I had a couple more sayings. I don't know if y'all exhausted your list yet, but I had a couple more sayings. I know my grandmother used to say when somebody didn't smell good, she said they sure smell high.
You're right. Oh yeah.
You sure smell high. I said high. I thought you were talking about drugs one time, but then I understood what she meant when she said it sure smell high. One of her famous saying too, which she talked about kids that didn't have. She said the children just don't have no manners. She said
no manners.
No manners. Yeah, you no manners. That was no manners, chair. And then one thing that she always said to make me remember was about life and mortality. She said you ain't come here for grass seeds. So she let you know you're gonna die sometime.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna die sometime. And we had Professor Laurel Smalls Gordon chiming in. She said it really has been awesome, learned a lot, and reminded of other things. Yeah, it was an awesome show. It was an awesome show. And we know that some people had intentions to come and didn't get to show up, but you know what? God worked it out. Exactly who was supposed to be here was here. Exactly who was supposed to be here was here. Deacon Gibbs, you have anything else to say?
Well, the one of them was, um, I'm not your little friend, and you smelling yourself.
Oh,
Yeah, I forgot about that. You smell. I'm gonna knock your teeth down
You
your throat.
smelling yourself. and you tell a lie when the truth right is handy.
what it is, you lie, you steal.
Yeah, if you lie, you
Oh,
steal.
yeah, yeah. If you lie, you steal. And
Hey,
one of them,
go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, and one of them that they always say, whatever you do for your mother and your father, God gonna bless you and put favor on you, and ain't nothing nobody can do gonna touch you.
Amen.
And
They
the
used to always
last one
say
I
that.
got, everything shiny is not gold.
Yeah, yeah. My grandma used to say everything glitter ain't gold. So it's the same
Right.
thing. Same thing.
Yes.
Same thing. Same stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Lady Hero, anything else you want to tell us tonight? You want to take us out with a short story? Do you have a short one? You want to take
Sure.
us out with it?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I was going to say, like I mentioned earlier, that a lot of times most people don't realize that they even go to Gullah Geechee and practicing many of our African traditions. And as a military brat, I was taken away from home for quite some time, so I almost forgot who I was, except for the food and the things that we continue to practice. But I lost my language and some of the sayings. And I remember coming back and they say, oh, you got it all proper now. You ain't know how to talk to people. Ain't know where we come from. He's too uppity now. And I remember being on the bus one day, I don't know what I'm speaking about. But I remember this young lady sitting in front of me and she said, oh God, my stomach in my back. Oh, my stomach in my back. And I said, bus driver, something wrong with the gal? Please help. She needs help. She said she don't feel good. I don't know if she gonna throw up or if she said, can I just hungry? I said, well, why you ain't say that then? I did. And in that moment I realized, man, I got some work to do because I forgot what some of these things I said. It's a whole nother world
Right.
and I was experiencing culture shock of my own culture.
Oh, that's a good one. Or if somebody real skinny, they say the back, they two back pockets touching. He has back pocket touching.
Oh yeah.
He's skinny. And Ramona Smalls Chisholm, my cousin, chimes in. She said your eye long. That's right, your eye long, meaning you're greedy. She said we make her miss her grandmother. God bless Miss Rena. That was a sweet lady. Yeah, they're my cousins. We live in the same. We came up in the same community, but absolutely, man. Those old sayings, and maybe we'll get together and have another show, bring some more. And the one I mentioned when we were offset earlier, and I said that one I had never heard before, but I read it in my cousin Tracy Morrison's a young lady said it in Tracy Morrison's post on Facebook. Somebody must have sucked all the red off your candy. I ain't never heard that one before. But then Deacon Gibbs said he heard that one before. Somebody must have sucked all the red off your candy.
Right.
Yes, I mean you ain't got no reason to be upset. What you so upset for? Suck all the red off your candy.
Boy, that one ain't got too much sense there.
Oh yeah, we used to call him Cracky. That boy Cracky.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Cracky.
Cracky. Yeah,
He cracky.
He cracky. Ain't got all.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't got all.
Yeah.
Even with the insult, it's so funny that culturally for us, even with the insult, you're like, oh, that one here cracky. All right. Oh, that's pretty bad. Your head's bad, Lord. Pretty real bad. Yes, Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, y'all making me laugh. Y'all make me think about cracky. And I think of that word so long. I hadn't heard that word so long. That's my grandmother say that. Yeah, he cracky. He got good sense,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something else you can say.
There's always at least one that's in the event.
Always at least one. She was always saying, when she was You know, when somebody was real pitiful, she said, "And Lord,
Yeah.
and Lord."
Mm.
But I want to thank once again our people that came tonight. Our panelist Tracy Morrison. Tracy was on her way, didn't make it. Anastasia Ketchin, Miss Elka Stewart, Elder Carly Town, Deacon Tony Gibbs. My good friend Teresa Shepherd was on her way. She got held up on a church call. So understand that we ain't gonna listen. We ain't gonna fight with the Lord. Now you gotta do what you gotta do for God. And the Honorable Mike Bam Mad Bryant, he's usually always on time, but he's out there driving on the road. We pray that he's staying safe on that highway. And to all of you that chimed in tonight, man, everybody, Nina Nesbitt, my good friend, the Rod Shine, the rapper BMX, Laurel Smalls, and Ramona Smalls Chisholm, my cousins. Thank y'all for chiming in tonight. And man, this was a pretty good show. We had a great show. I said pretty good. This was a great show. We had a lot of laughs, and until next time. So to all of you out there, have a wonderful night. Thank you for showing up tonight, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for the opportunity.